So the purpose of this video is to show how to make a how to conduct a chi-squared test on the graphing calculator. So first of all, let's clear the calculator. Do that. Okay. And what I've got here is some data. We'll pretend that this is legitimate data that I have not just made up, but we've got male and female that were surveyed and asked what their preferred movie preference was. Comedy, romance, action, drama, sci-fi, and horror. And you can see the values of the response. So males, 78 of the males who responded said that they preferred comedy, 23 males preferred romance, and so on. The females, comedy, 65 of the females said comedy was their favorite movie, 54 said romance, and 115 action and whatnot. So the first thing we need to do in conducting a chi-squared test, remember, is a null hypothesis. The null hypothesis is going to give us what we're comparing against. We also need an alternate hypothesis. So null hypothesis in this case is there is no relationship. Always in a chi-square, the null hypothesis is that there is no relationship between gender, between the two variables. So in this case, there's no relationship between gender and movie preference. The alternate hypothesis, therefore, will be that there is a relationship between gender and movie preference. Okay, so the null hypothesis is there is no relationship. The alternate is that there is a relationship. Remember that when you're conducting the test, it is important to indicate that the variables that you're studying. So there is no relationship between the gender and the movie preference. The alternate hypothesis, there is a relationship between gender and movie preference. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to calculate the chi-square and the p-value. And so this is why I really want to look at this on the graphing calculator. Okay, I've given you in class, you should have seen in class how to do this by hand. The purpose of this video is how to calculate the chi-square and the p-value using the graphing calculator. The first place we're going to go to is matrix. So second matrix, that's the second function on the reciprocal key. Okay. And then we're going to go over to edit, and we want to select matrix A. Notice that this matrix has 2 rows and 6 columns, so it is a 2 by 6 matrix. And in the graphing calculator, as you type in the 2 and the 6, it sets it up. So we have 78, our values are 78, 23, 128, 82, 98, 78. Okay, those are the preferences for males. For females, 65, 54, 115, 89, 83, and 62 are the numbers in each of the categories. Okay, so from there, we're going to press second, quit to get out. And now we want to select stat, go over to tests, and we want to go down to number C, letter C, ABC, chi-squared test, and press enter. Remember that the calculator is going to ask us where the observed matrix is. We're going to tell it it's in matrix A. The expected matrix, we've covered in class how to calculate the expected values. The calculator is not asking where did you put the expected values. The calculator is asking where you would like it to put the expected values. And so we're going to put that into matrix B. At this point, all we need to do is go down to calculate, press enter, and notice the calculator indicates a chi-squared value of 17.3448 and a p-value of 0.00389. Okay, so our chi-squared value is 17.3 and our p-value is 0.0039. Those are the values that we're going to use. Now what we're going to do is we're going to compare the p-value 0.0039 to 0.05. Okay. Now, what this means is that what is the probability? What is the likelihood, or quote unquote, what are the chances that I got numbers that look like this if there's no relationship? Okay. So, in other words, the probability needs to be less than 0.05. There needs to be less than a 5% chance of getting these results if, in fact, there's no relationship. What we found is we have a p-value of 0.0039 which is, I used the wrong sign. I accidentally wrote there that it is greater than 0.05. It's actually less than 0.05. So since 0.0039 is less than 0.05, we are going to say that the likelihood of getting these results is less than 0.05. The chances of getting these results is less than a 5% chance. So that means we want to state the conclusion in terms of the problem. Because the p-value is less than 0.05, we are going to reject the null hypothesis. Let me get rid of that. We're going to reject the null hypothesis. That means that based on this data, we can conclude that, in fact, there is a relationship between gender and movie preference. Okay? And that's it to the chi-squared test, as well in general, as well as how to do it on the calculator.